This video is of a really unique pamphlet titled The Hot Dog Invades Normandy, and it's of USS Frankfort DD-497, and she was a Glebus-class destroyer in the United States Navy, commissioned in March of 1943. And I say unique because this pamphlet was printed in July of 1944, and it details the Frankfurt's involvement with the D-Day invasion of in Normandy on June 6, 1944. And this book belonged to one of the crew members, Charles Harry Harris, who was a second-class yeoman. And USS Frankfort was heavily involved in the Normandy invasion that took place on June 6, 1944. And she provided gunfire support for pinned down U.S. forces, then joined the area screening operations. And she's famous for turning broadside in order to train all four of her 5-inch guns on German machine nests. And the action allowed troops to more successfully land on the beach. And she was also involved with picking up survivors from damaged ships and downed pilots. And she even drove off enemy E-boat attacks. And she maintained her station there off of the beaches of Normandy until the 15th of July, only making 2 one-day voyages back to Plymouth, England for stores and fuel. And as I mentioned, what's really unique about this pamphlet is it was written within 30 days of the June 6 landing, and while Frankfurt was still on station there in July of 1944. And the pamphlet starts off with the Commodore, Captain Harry Sanders, U.S. Navy, stating that there would have been no landings on the beaches today if it had not been for Destroyer Squadron 18. And he made USS Frankfort, which was known in the squadron as the Hot Dog, his flagship during the Normandy Invasion. And I'm not the best speaker, so I won't try to read this entire pamphlet, but I did want to read 2 of the main events that are mentioned here in the pamphlet. The first is the incident that will probably live longest in the memory of every man aboard the Hot Dog took place during this shore bombardment on the morning of D-Day. It was observed that one whole section of beachhead was stopped completely by a well-concealed enemy battery. The admiral in charge of the fire support group pleaded frantically for someone to locate the deadly enemy position. After shelling many suspected locations, a sharp-eyed Hot Dog lookout finally discovered the real enemy emplacement. The Hot Dog then came into less than 1,000 yards of the beach, closer than any other warship ventured that day, and commenced firing. Salvo after salvo of 5-inch shells were hurled into the camouflaged enemy sector. When the firing ceased, the Hot Dog crew watched breathlessly as one brave infantryman crept up the hill towards the dangerous spot. Other soldiers followed him. There was no enemy fire. The first man reached the top of the hill unarmed and waved his comrades on. The Hot Dog crew heaved one long sigh of relief. A few minutes later, the whole crew thrilled and cheered as the announcement came over the loudspeaker that 22 prisoners were being herded down the hill towards the beach from their demolished position as a direct result of the Hot Dog gunfire. And the other is, no man aboard the Hot Dog will ever forget the night that the Hot Dog moved in on Cherbourg in an attempt to draw the fire of the mighty shore batteries which had been raising havoc among all the shipping that dared approach. The Commodore frankly stated he would have felt guilty about dispatching another ship on such a dangerous mission, and so he took the assignment for himself and for the Hot Dog. As the Hot Dog zigzagged closer and closer in towards the big guns on the shore, the crew grew more and more alert and tense, and nerves tingled with suppressed excitement. Apparently the Allies had already stilled the threatening enemy batteries, for the Hot Dog was not fired on that night. A few days later, the Hot Dog moved in on Cherbourg again in broad daylight and saw the ruins of the enormous fortifications and emplacements. They fully realized how fortunate they had been that the mighty German guns had not been able to fire that night. And the pamphlet ends stating the Hot Dog has been to war and her fighting mettle has been proved. But the full history of this fighting ship still lies ahead. The shore patrol knows the crew of the Hot Dog for their hard celebrating and for many ingenious escapades. The Navy Department knows the crew of the Hot Dog as a well-disciplined, efficient, and hard-fighting crew. The Nazis, too, have met the crew of the Hot Dog and have felt the fury and efficient accuracy of the Hot Dog's blazing guns. And with God's permission, a great many more Nazis, and the Japanese, too, are going to become acquainted with the crew of the Hot Dog. I hope you enjoyed this unique look at USS Frankfort DD-497, aka the Hot Dog, and this pamphlet that details her involvement on the events of June 6, 1944, and the invasion of Normandy. Try to upload military and patriotic videos to my site here, about every other day. And if you're interested in a good read, check out my books at www.edsemler.com.